I'm Sonika Iron. I'm the founder and CEO of Marching Sheep. That's a very good question. I've been working in this space. So I started Marching Sheep in the year 2013. And diversity, equity, and inclusion happens to be about 60% of our work. And we started with working on women, not just representation, but inclusion. The problem that continues to exist is that a lot of organizations still focus a lot on hiring. It's a recruitment first strategy rather than an inclusion first strategy. Now, what tends to happen is that when you have numbers, when you have targets that, this is what I want to achieve by year 2027 or 2030, you press the pedal on recruitment without realizing whether your internal policies, processes, and managerial mindset is conducive to having a diverse team. Women will continue to have uh, two life stages that will conflict with each other, the personal life stage and the professional life stage. How do you help them balance it? And being a society where a lot of responsibility comes on a woman, I think organizations have a very strong role to play when it comes to driving cultural change. And I think that is where a lot of organizations are still holding back. So when I speak to a client and I have numbers in front of me. We've done the biggest empirical study in India of over 800 companies. The entry level is it's almost like, it's an hourglass. At the entry level, you have close to 40%. But as you go to key managerial positions, 63% organizations have zero women at key managerial positions. Again, at the board level, it is because of the compliance where the government says that you need to have at least one woman on your board, and that woman can be anybody. So that is where, again, you see about 19 to 20% representation. Until and unless we look at an inclusion first strategy, we will continue to face this problem. I think the very definition of well-being today is changing because the definition, let me put it this way, the way the workforce is looking at well-being has changed. Today, there are four generations in an organization. You have Gen Z, you have millennials, you have Gen X, and you have baby boomers. Now, what can well-being mean in terms of insurance, in terms of time off for maybe a baby boomer who might have grown up children, might have elderly parents, and same for Gen X, might be very different for a Gen Z. And I have seen this firsthand. We were working with a client where they spoke about a well-being wallet, and they said 15,000 in a year is enough. And the question was that, have you done your analysis by cohorts? Look at people who are single, people who are double income, no kids. Look at people who have kids. Look at people who might be the sandwich generation. Can the same definition of well-being apply to everyone? Now, until and unless organizations look at the diversity within the organization by generation, by gender, by sexual orientation, all of it, they will not be able to address the well-being issue in totality. And just looking at what is the best practice outside won't cut it anymore. Honestly, I wonder if they've still learned, because I see a lot of organizations. See, during COVID, they had no choice but to work remotely. As soon as COVID got over, the number of organizations over a period of time who started forcing workforce to come back, and they did get the aftermath. I think what organizations need to understand is that trust is a two-way street. You can't expect your employees to trust you if you don't extend the same trust. So when we or any organization says that, no, I want to have my team in front of me, the question is that, have leaders and managers understood that productivity is not an outcome of presenteeism? It is not an outcome of the number of hours you see a person sitting in front. Have we worked on our performance management processes where we're looking at outcomes and deliverables rather than, how many days a person worked or how many hours a person worked? So I think the corporates, there are some who have embraced hybrid, but I think there are still some people, leaders, organizations who are clinging to the work from office mindset. The thing that we need to understand is that 70% of our workforce is millennials and young millennials. Very soon, the leaders who are unwilling to let go of control will get replaced. So either we adapt or we get irrelevant.